Good morning and welcome to Shamanic Sundays. Hi, Dad.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us today. We are super grateful to be here with you today. It's a beautiful sunny day where we are, and wherever you are, we send you light and love. Would you like to start us off with a prayer, Pops?
Here's a pop in prayer from Popsters. Thank you, Great Spirit, source of all, great mystery, creative wisdom, power of the universe, who gives us this light pouring in on this new day, breath of life force, gifts of creation, the opportunity of being alive on this day, the opportunities to wake up and remember who we are, what we are, and why we're here. Gratitude to our ancestors and ancestor spirits of the land we live on. We remember you here, ancestor people. Blessings to you. Thank you for our families and our communities, and thank you for those situations that actually push our buttons of reactivity, trigger reactivity inside of us, because as bothersome and disturbing and upsetting as they can be, on the deeper level, they give us opportunity to wake up, see how we've fallen asleep into the constricted identity of ego with its stories and the physical body, and how upset all of that can get and create stories that add to suffering when ego doesn't get what it wants. Wonderful saying from Aikido, easy the eye, not so tight on the constriction of ego identity, and open up and remember that we're part of the infinite creative wisdom power of the universe. It's in us and we're in. And so thank you, creator, source of all of this and maintainer of all of it, and bringing us together here today and the opportunity to use our collective energy, joining hearts, minds, and spirits to fully wake up to the truth that we're sacred, worthy, luminous beings, and we're given this day to live, love, alive. May it be so for healing of the sacred hoop.
Oh, thank you. So I sometimes think that your prayers, we could just do that and then call it a day.
Okay.
Kind of cover your bases.
Bye.
But we'll dig a little bit deeper. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, Sean, and he was like, how do you stay positive, like with so much negative stuff in the news, right? And I said, well, for one thing, I don't click on every single headline. I try to stay educated and check a variety of news sources from different perspectives, and then try to form my own perspective, figuring the truth is somewhere in the middle of all that. But there's certain ethics and truths that I believe in my heart very deeply, and many of them are informed by my time in nature and my time in ceremony with you and other elders, indigenous teachers and mentors who taught you and me things along the line. And one of them is this trust in collapse and rebirth. And so I said to Sean, I said, well, I'll dig into that with my dad a little bit on Shamanic Sundays. And I got the thumbs up from him. So Sean, thank you for planting this seed of suggestion. And I definitely feel like we are in a state of many things are collapsing, but at the same time, I absolutely feel a new system is birthing at the same time. So could you just share a little bit or a lot bit about what you've learned about this cycle of collapse and rebirth in your work with shamanism?
Well, excuse me, all the work of shamanism is about paying attention to how nature works. And when I got up this morning to go outside to greet Father Sun, just rising through the trees there in the east, those first beams of light, giving thanks for this new day. And then I walk out to our yard there, and I go have altars in each direction, and I give thanks to all the plants there that I pass along the way to make the circle of the medicine wheel and give thanks. And the first thing that I walk out of the house after greeting the sun, I turn to the right. There's got beautiful plants all over the deck, and And each day I see these plants, and every day I see them changing and growing. And of course, the energy of what Huichol called great grandmother growth, the Kutsi Nakaway, great grandmother growth energy, already coming up here, and I see new buds appearing on the branches, on the bare branches, and within the trees, and the flowers starting to blossom. And it just amazes me. Just so amazing, the manifestations of this invisible energy we call great grandmother growth. And as I watch great grandmother growth of nature and her wisdom through the year, the seasons, the changing seasons, we're midway now between winter and spring. I think 3 more, month or so from now is the spring equinox.
And daylight savings changes soon too. So that's good for those of us in this area.
So I just marvel at the wisdom of the different seasons of what it takes for those buds to come up. That great grandmother growth needs time in the fall when life that's already lived its life falls away, falls down to the earth, and she takes it down into her womb and does her work in the place of winter, the darkness time, of stillness time. It looks like nothing's happening on the surface, but down deep in the dark wisdom of her womb, she's doing alchemical transformational work, energy work with what she's taken in that's died, that's dead, and transforms it into the energy that brings forth, that she uses, the fuel, you might say, she uses to bring forth that growth. And so as I just marvel at this growth process through the seasons, and then in the summer, of course, spring, it's the fullest blossoming, and in summer, it grows to its fullest height and potency and beauty. And then in the fall, it falls away. The cycles continue. And so I just marvel at the growth process that's in the earth, and that you can see visibly coming up through the incredible variety and diversity of plants and shapes and sizes and colors. And it's unbelievable if you really pay attention to it. And it just strikes like a strong vibrational chord inside of me of awareness, which I just share with you, of how that same growth power energy is pouring up into us. And that we have seeds implanted in us from the universe, the wisdom power of the universe, that great surge of energy that starts coming up here in the springtime to bring forth new life wants to grow in us. And so I have great faith in the wisdom of these cycles in nature and the great spirit as it expresses in nature that we're a part of, and then what's happening in the world. And so with all the challenges that are pushing on the buttons of reactivity in different ways, a larger perspective is to be cognizant of the suffering that's taken place and try to address those causes and help those who are suffering and change the conditions that produce those sufferings, and also to hold it all in a larger framework, a larger perspective. There's these great cosmic cycles are taking place. And what is it that the growth power of the universe wants to grow within us? I was thinking this morning in meditation how we humanity, we're in this evolutionary growth process, and it's similar to as if the different organs in our bodies, the liver, the heart, the lungs, the circulatory system, the respiratory system, each one of these systems identified just with itself as the most important thing going, and had to compete with the other organs and systems for energy, even to the extent of, if it hurts the other one, tough shit, but as long as I get mine. And so that's kind of way the evolutionary process of humanity has brought us to this point of either we recognize how to compete with other organs and circulatory systems for those resources creates suffering, because we're working against a holistic system that's only going to work most effectively, fruitfully, when it's all working together. Because why? It recognizes, the heart recognizes the importance of the liver, and the liver recognizes the importance of the lungs, and recognizes that, wait a minute, we're all a part of this system. we're interdependent. We're dependent on each other, and we have to work cooperatively and respectfully, and learn how to work harmoniously with each other, because that's what's going to help us survive and grow and fulfill the potential of those seeds that Spirit's placed inside of us. And if we don't grow up in consciousness and recognize how we're all interconnected in a seamless unity, then we're not going to make it. We're not going to survive, because we're fighting against, going against the deepest truth of creation, of reality, that there's no such thing as a separate thing. We're all connected. So opening up to the growth power that's coming into you and I today, on this day that we're living, and listening to what are those seeds of consciousness and being that I want to have grow stronger in my life. And so to open up with gratitude to great grandmother growth, to Kutsi Nakaway energy coming into us, to work harmoniously by listening to intuition, our hearts, our souls, our integrity, what feels right for me to say, to do, to put my attention into on this day that I'm given. What's most important about living a life of quality, so that I feel good inside. And if death came at any moment and to take me, I could feel good about showing up to do the best I can, to be present and wake up and open my heart and be a channel for your healing light and love to me, and through me out to whoever you want to use me to send it to. And right now I'm sending it to everybody here. And so you can send it out to everybody you touch today, and to you and all of us. So there you go.
There you go. Thank you.
All right.
So when I think about shamanism, a lot of it is being a kind of a medium between like what we think we see and the unseen, right? What we sort of, with our Eurocentric eyes, or the tactile kind of like, right, I can see this is real, but the kind of the translation, the bridge builder between energies and spirits and the infinite potential of the universe that we can't always see. And yet when we do bring our awareness to, the waves in the ocean, right? They're always moving in cycles, or, the trees that you were talking about, the buds on the tree, the plants in the garden, our own bodies. You cut your leg this morning, and you immediately started sending prayers down to that cut to like open it to the healing, right? And sometimes we don't heal, and there's legitimate suffering in that process. And yet what I'm hearing you always say over and over is like where we can bring our energy to the things that we can see or not see, how we can show up and bring our energy and awareness to it is a difference in how we experience the seen and the unseen.
Yeah.
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 So there's definitely, I just want to give support a little bit more to each of you who might be suffering and feeling like you're watching something collapse in the world or in your own life, or you need to let something collapse. Because sometimes you need to let something collapse in order to let something new come through. So any like practical ways that you can guide us this morning, maybe in a meditation about breathing into, relaxing, trusting into that process of things collapsing, and knowing something beautiful and healthy is birthing through that process.
We're gifted with awareness when we bring consciousness to awareness, and we bring awareness to consciousness. All of a sudden, it opens access to co-creating with spirit. What do I want to experience in this moment of being alive? Got no guarantees that when this breath leaves, there'll be another one. If another breath comes in, it's a gift of grace. Welcome it in, receive it, and use it consciously to co-create what you want to create for yourself. Whatever we want to experience, whatever you want to experience, we can only experience it in this moment. It's the only time we can experience whatever we want to experience.
So interrupting you there for a second,
Yeah.
like when you first felt the pain in your leg, what was your first instinct?
Let's see. Well, I didn't feel pain. I felt it was just a sensation. I bumped into a heater as we were walking into this room, And so I just felt the energetic sensation of bumping into something, and it was like, So it wasn't really pain, just awareness of that, and it wasn't any big deal. But then a few minutes later, I could feel a little liquid down there, so I reached down and felt like it was bleeding, and I have blood thinner medication, and also 80-year-old skin thin, so bleed easily. And so again, I didn't feel any pain. I just was aware blood's flowing. And so I wanted to access that resource that's always available, connection to the creative wisdom power of the universe. That has no limitations.
For a sec.
Yeah.
So I want to invite each of you to think of something that you feel like you're bumping into in life, or feeling some draining that you or collapsing that you're experiencing. And then back to you, Dad, about how you started transmuting that.
Yeah. Thanks for that mid-course correction.
Well, no, not correcting, but just bringing
alignment.
It back from your experience back to each of you out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So in recognizing there was blood flowing, I had many different responses to that. It brought up a story that I shared with Kimberly and did when she was little. How when I was very little, maybe 3-4 years, 2 years, 3-4 years, and I fell and hurt myself, I was bleeding and blood was gushing out of me. And I'm freaking out because I've never had that experience before. And it's pretty scary. And my mother came over to me and she said, she put some paper on her, toilet paper to stop the blood. And she said, "Oh, Tommy, you have such good blood. You have really good blood." And when she said that, all of a sudden, it turned my whole experience around. And instead of, I'm losing some vital substance and something's wrong, it's not working out, I'm freaking out. It's like, oh my God, look at that. I have really good blood. It like sank in all the way in as a truth of my being. And it's carried me through my life that I have good blood. So I sent my energy down into the leg to start support the process that was already taking place through the wisdom that's embedded in all of us. The blood was starting to move toward coagulating, to drying up and coagulating. So I just sent gratitude down, loving, healing energy into that wisdom there in my leg to support that process of the blood flow stopping. And then I just let go of it and went on with our being here right now. So it's a meditation of awareness, with that gift of awareness. When we bring it to the truth of how we're being breathed in the moment of being alive, and we consciously choose how we want to experience being alive in the moment. With my cut on the leg, I could have gone into judgment. "You stupid dummy, you bumped your leg again. Come on, you're so clumsy. Pay attention." And now you're going to bleed on your pants, and it's a pain in the inner, create suffering. The event already took place. It's just what it is. But my relationship to it, that's what we can determine, how we respond to the stressors and the buttons that are pushed inside of us. We respond with judgment that constricts and tightens, and at the same time inflames and creates suffering. Or notice like our physical posture, notice what's happening with our energy state, and that we have the potential to change our posture, improve it, straighten the frame up, open up to the flow of energy coming in, and use it consciously to co-create with spirit what we want to create, whatever that is in the moment. Remembering that when we're triggered by whatever reactivity pattern stimulus creates in us, we always have the power, if we're present and we choose it, to create a conscious relationship, a skillful conscious relationship to the truth of what's happening in us, my foot's bleeding, and what's happening around us in the field. How can I create a response to the truth of what I'm experiencing in my consciousness, in my awareness, in my energy field? It's the world channels impinging on me in whatever way it is and triggering whatever react. How can I create a response to the truth of it that grows me? And right away, we're then reconnecting consciousness to Kutsinakaway, great-grandmother growth. This is an opportunity for me to grow, to use that growth power energy. How do I want to use that? What quality of consciousness and being Do I want to have growth? Do I want to have tighter identification with my ego and give more and more power to its stories and its identity as the physical body, which is constriction? Or do I want to use this breath flowing in to open my awareness, deepen and expand and raise the bandwidth of my awareness to remember, to recognize the 3 A's: sacred aloha, unity; sacred cosmic love, aloha; and to live this moment with alegria, with joy. May it be so. Hope.
May it be so. Thank you. And I'll just add, not just with our own egos, but with other people's egos out there, right?
Well, talk a little bit more what you mean by that.
That as we're watching other people be very ego-driven, we can bring these same choices in how we respond to other people's behaviors too, right? So
yeah, it's a good catch to catch my own judgments about somebody else making judgments.
Exactly.
Oops. Yeah. Pull the plug, cut the cord, let it go.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Which isn't to be like disregarding of dark energy and evil and negative stuff happening. That's not minimizing the choices that others can make to inflict hurt and suffering on others. But it still always is in our control of how we respond to that. And are we going to add more darkness into it, or are we going to be bringing light and love and knowing that we're part of the cycle and helping to rebirth that blossom coming out of the earth and out of the collapse?
All right.
Yeah.
May it be so.
Yes. I love one of our relatives wrote, "The earth is always bumping into me. Lots of growth that way. Pay attention." Another relative said, "Breathe it in and remember, squeeze that muscle and bring it in. Squeeze past the line. Remember what's true, that we are." I bet you guys can say it with us.
What are we saying?
All sacred, worthy, luminous beings.
We are love,
and
our love is forgiving and receiving. To wake up now, to live love alive in 2025.
All right. May it be so. Have a wonderful week ahead. Thanks again for being here with us, literally in this moment and whenever you're watching or listening to this. And thank you for being part of the web that we're weaving together, striving to make a more peaceful, just, equitable, healthy, and beautiful world.
May it be so. Starts with you and me. Yahweh.
All right.